Hey, what's going on, everybody? Erik Levi, the Holistic A-Hole here, coming at you with a new video. Today, I want to talk about Amazon getting caught selling counterfeit, potentially dangerous supplements on their website. So this was a big thing that happened this last Prime Day. We're a few months removed now from that. So technically, it's kind of an old story, but, the way I see it is it's still happening. This is still a thing that's going on at Amazon and amongst people who sell things on Amazon. So I wanted to kind of break it down because for me personally, I'm a big proponent of supplements. I used to not be. I used to have this mindset where I thought, hey, your diet should bring you all the nutrition you need. And to a certain extent, I really do feel that way still. Anytime I personally work with somebody, I'm always recommending food first. You want to try to get your nutrition from the food that you're eating. And, a lot of people do these different diets, whether it's the keto or the paleo or the vegan or vegetarian or carnivore or whatever it is. In some respect, there's going to be a nutrient deficiency. And you also have to keep in mind that in this day and age, the amount of toxicity that we are all subjected to, whether it's from the air we breathe, the food we eat, the water we drink, there is a level of toxicity happening in our world that humans have never been subjected to before. Look at plastic alone. The amount of chemicals in plastic alone are, for many people, potentially life-threatening. If nothing else, at the very least, these chemicals like PCBs and all these things that you find in plastics can be very, very harmful to your detoxification system. And this is where we start getting things like, skin disorders, gut disorders, brain disorders, liver disorders. They're just now starting to kind of understand the profound effect that these chemicals that are all around us, in this room alone. There's chemicals, there's probably hundreds, probably thousands of chemicals that I'm being exposed to. So a diet alone many times just is not adequate to help your body fully tolerate all of the chemicals that are happening in your body. Now, if we lived, 1,000 years ago, would food be enough to get us by? Probably, but the life expectancy was also 30 or 40 years old, and of course that's like the average. So some people lived till 70, 80, and then some people died before their first year of life. So we just live in a completely different world. So is supplementation necessary? Not necessarily. You can get by without supplementing. You might start experiencing, recurring health issues on different varying levels of severity. Some people just tolerate certain health issues for a long, long time, and sometimes those issues can be alleviated by supplements. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I do believe that supplementation is okay. In many people's cases, it's necessary. And, for a lot of people, it can be an absolute alternative to pharmaceutical drugs. That being said, the question of where do you get your supplements is a huge issue. When I walk around and I see places selling supplements, if I walk into a Walgreens, they've got supplements in Walgreens. If I go to a grocery store, they've got supplements in the grocery store. Costco has supplements. And when you start looking at these supplements, the problem with supplements is that they're not regulated by the FDA. They're not really, many of them aren't regulated at all. Many of them have no kind of, what am I trying to say? So a lot of them don't have any kind of level of efficacy that they're supposed to be tested at. Some of them are not even tested for efficacy to begin with. So, also keep in mind, the things that they put into supplements. The a lot of people take capsules, and sure, the supplement itself could be solid, but the capsule might have all of these different ingredients, that you'll find in it that are potentially toxic. Some of these supplements have, things like magnesium stearate. Some of them have food coloring additives, like yellow 6 or whatever, red 5. These things are toxic to the human body, and they're in people's supplements. So you could be doing great taking a multivitamin every day, but if that multivitamin is coated in garbage, you might actually be hurting yourself. And that's the problem with, I would venture to say, 95% of the supplement industry. It's just hardcore garbage, which is why you have to be so careful, and you have to scrutinize so much where you get your supplement sources from. Well, people now go onto Amazon to start finding supplements, and why not? Because Amazon's awesome. I have Prime. Most people I know have Prime. It's a game changer the second you get it. You can order stuff right there in the comfort of your own home, and it can be delivered to you in a day or two. Unless you live in Puerto Rico, that could take a week. I don't know why, but it does. So people now go to Amazon to buy supplements. And this is not to say that there's not good supplements on Amazon. It's just you don't know who the good ones are and who the good ones aren't, or who the bad ones are. Because what you start finding are these counterfeit supplements that are being sold by third-party sellers. Just so you know, the way that Amazon works too is over 50% of their business is done through third-party sellers. So, people are making very good livings selling products on Amazon. When you buy something off Amazon, there's a 50% chance that it's not actually made by Amazon. It's actually sold through some other person or some other company. You can get big companies, you can get small companies. Really, almost everybody sells on Amazon. But what I found when it comes to supplements is that a lot of the reputable supplement companies that I use actually don't sell on Amazon. There's a supplement company that I love to use called Biotics Research, and I like to use them because a lot of health coaches I know, a lot of people in the health industry swear by their supplements, have vouched for their supplements. They're owned by health professionals. They, third-party tests, fourth-party tests. They really scrutinize their manufacturing processes to really get the best ingredients they can use, the best equipment they can use, the best formulations they can put together. They're at the top of the supplement game. But the crazy thing is if you go on to Amazon.com, you'll find Biotics products on there. And I've actually spoken with Biotics reps myself, and they'll tell you that they say, look, we don't sell on Amazon. I think there was a time they sold on Amazon, but they'll say, look, if you see products from Biotics Research on Amazon, that didn't come from us. Because we don't sell on Amazon. This is part of their integrity. They only sell to healthcare providers, and then healthcare providers turn around and sell that to their clients. So they're not in this game to try to be, I don't know who's a big supplement. They're not trying to be GNC, They're just a very good, very high quality supplement producer, manufacturer. So when you see a Biotics Research product on Amazon, that means it was made by a counterfeit third party. And it's not hard to do. You can go and get a label designed that looks just exactly like a Biotics Research label. Or, any other supplement company out there. You got Pure Encapsulations, you got Douglas Labs, you got Standard Process, Innate Response. There's a ton of them out there. You can just get a label made that looks just like it. You can, Jesus Christ, you can do it right there in your Photoshop. Get a label made yourself, get it printed out, find yourself a real cheap manufacturer. A lot of times they come from China. get someone in China to just, make some powder, and they put it in the capsule, and then, they slap on the label that you made. It might say Biotics, it might say Pure Encapsulations, it might say whoever. Now, Now Foods or whatever, they're a big one. And then get your distribution set up, ship it here to the States, get it into Amazon's warehouse. And I mean, Amazon is not scrutinizing the things they sell. They have an inspection process, but I mean, they're not inspecting every single thing. They're not testing the supplements that come through. If the supplements are in a crate, in a case or whatever, they're not opening up the case and breaking it open and testing it. They're just like, okay, well, there's the thing. Doesn't have any weapons in it. No illegal immigrants are in the box, so it's good to sell. And then now it's able to be sold on Amazon. So, I'll tell a client like, hey, the supplement you want is a Biotics Research, digestive support supplement or liver support supplement. And then, what do people do? They go on to Amazon, they type up Biotics Research, and what do you know? There's a Biotics Research supplement that I was telling them about. And it costs maybe a few bucks less than what I was telling them it costs, and then they go buy it. And the problem is what they're really getting is they're really getting some garbage that came from China. So, hold on a second. So it looks like it. So basically, you can see that this was finally brought to the mainstream media's attention after this last Prime Day in 2019. And I don't know why it took so long to become an issue, because it's been going on for a long time. But Wired wrote a story about it, and this story was picked up. I actually did not know about this story until just recently, which is why I'm talking about it now. And the reason I'm talking about it is because I'm personally very familiar with Amazon third-party sellers. I know several Amazon third-party sellers. They don't sell supplements. They sell, other home goods, and do very, very well. So I understand, the opportunity that there is in Amazon. And when I see, look, if you sell a nail file on Amazon, right? If you sell like a 10-pack of nail files, there's not much harm you can do with a nail file, unless you're, on PCP and you go rob a liquor store or something. That's one thing, okay? There's not a lot of quality control you need for that. But when you start seeing people in the health industry who are pushing supplements, because a lot of people do, always be suspicious. Always be suspicious, especially if you start seeing these supplements on Amazon. And, this story really, really highlights why, why we have to be so careful, because the supplement industry is so lucrative. I think it's like a $40 billion a year industry. And now that people are buying them on Amazon, I'd imagine, because that 40 billion, I think I saw that number was as of maybe 2014, 2015. Amazon is even bigger now. So I would imagine that number is probably closer to 50 billion, 40, 50 billion, somewhere like that. People are making a lot of money on supplements, and they don't give a shit about the effect on you. Yeah, of course, everybody should get more fish oil. Everybody should get more, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't tell you what you should do, especially when it comes to something like fish oil. Fish oil is very suspect. But people sell fish oil, people sell probiotics, and even the quality stuff has not been shown to have, that big of an effect. But then you get these people who are sourcing it from China. And you know what they do in China? Let's take turmeric, for example, because turmeric's another very popular supplement right now, okay? First of all, turmeric comes from the turmeric root. So, the best way to get turmeric is just to actually go to the store, and I would imagine most stores sell it. I get mine from a market. You can go to a store, you can get turmeric root, and you can put it in a smoothie, you can cook with it. That's the best way to get turmeric. But what you have now is you have turmeric powders. And so let's say, for instance, you'll see a turmeric formulation on Amazon. There's tons of them on there. you'll see a turmeric formulation. And if that was made in China, what they're infamous for doing in China is getting these herbs, and the farmers, I don't know if it's the farmers or it's the manufacturers, one of the two, they get paid not based on the product. They get paid based on weight. So they'll sell stuff in bulk, and the heavier stuff is, the more product they are supposed to have, the more money they make. Well, what they do in places like China is that, I don't know, I got a very Trump there, China. What they do in China is to kind of weigh down their product a little more. They'll start throwing in things like lead. They'll start throwing in all of these fillers into the supplement, and so that actually weighs it down, so they actually make more money. So this is why you start hearing about fillers and things in your supplements, things like lead. Like, I mean, that's the biggest one, because lead is much more effective at weighing down the product. So you get a lot of people ingesting things like lead and aluminum and all this stuff, that these different metals that are put into the supplements, because the distributor actually makes more money on that. And then who gives a shit? It gets put in a capsule and then sold to you, and then they sell it on Amazon, and then you think you're getting turmeric because you've heard turmeric has all these benefits, which it does. Curcumin is absolutely amazing. Personally, I'm taking turmeric right now, or I use turmeric root, and I used to have some really bad knee inflammation, and it's gone, crazy. But I also don't use the garbage that's sold in a capsule. So I guess with this whole thing, really what it comes down to is don't buy supplements on Amazon. Just don't do it. If you need to buy supplements, if you've heard, first of all, if you are interested in supplements, find a healthcare provider, not a doctor. Find a holistic healthcare provider. Find a functional medicine doctor, or a nutritional therapist, or a functional diagnostic nutritionist, or somebody who works with supplements a lot. Chiropractors are great for this. Chiropractors, they get a lot of heat for not being real doctors, but they do understand alternative medicine. Acupuncturists too. Talk to them about nutrients you need. Yeah, they're not going to prescribe you for your depression an SSRI. They're not going to give you Valium for your anxiety. But what they'll tell you, they'll say, like, look, you might do well with something like ashwagandha or rhodiola or Panax, ginseng, or one of these herbs, or nootropics or something like that, which are all very effective. Assuming, again, you get the good quality stuff. Go to them, see what they recommend, and then do your research online. Well, I shouldn't say that, because online too is a disaster, because you got people who are just making websites to push certain stuff, and you can't. It's such a research the stuff through trusted sources. Look at someone like Dr. Mercola. Look at there's plenty of people out there who know what they're talking about when it comes to when it comes to natural products. And then buy through a trusted source. Again, find these practitioners who can get you this stuff. So Biotics Research, Pure Encapsulations, Douglas Laboratories, Standard Process, are the big ones that I personally know about and use myself, and you can see I'm doing pretty good. So this is like the thing about supplements. I talk a lot about supplements because I think supplements are great. Can you overdo it? Absolutely. Are there people who are taking supplements in replacement of drugs, and they're taking supplements like drugs? Absolutely. People are taking stuff they don't even need. People are taking stuff they don't even know why they're taking it. But in the end, you can, supplements, for the most part, as long as you have a targeted plan as to how and why you're taking a certain supplement, like vegans, for instance, you need to take B12. You got to take a B12, and B12 itself, you got to make sure you're taking methylcobalamin, not the what is it, like C-cobalamin, I forget the actual name of it. When you take folate, you make sure you're taking methylfolate. When you're taking vitamin B6, it's got to be the P5P version. There's these little nuances to the supplements that you have to really know about. You have to understand. You can't just jump in to a supplement because you heard somewhere that it was good. So you got to do your research. And again, by all means, please do not buy your supplements on Amazon. Get it from a provider. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Are you a supplement junkie? Do you buy supplements on Amazon? Have you been wronged by some supplements, or poisoned, dare I say, by a supplement you bought off Amazon? Let me know down in the comments. If you haven't done this yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button with the little bell icon so you can be notified every time a new video comes out. And what I like to do with these videos is at the end of the week, I'll take a whole bunch of them, put them together, and then make a podcast out of it so you can subscribe to the Holistic A-Hole podcast right there in your favorite podcast player. And if you can, go leave a nice review on iTunes. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.